December 27, 2003, Kershaw County, South Carolina. Trooper Darren Wilson is on routine patrol when he pulls to the shoulder to deal with a problem with his cruiser. While on the side of the road, a trooper spots a suspicious car driving erratically. Wilson decides to let the car cruise toward Sergeant James Sinkler, who is waiting up the road. But when the sergeant approaches the car, he ends up in a desperate fight for his life.
That area where we were that night is a very rural area. Not a lot of traffic. It is in the middle of nowhere.
It was real dark. I mean, there's no street lights. Kind of spooky to think about it, especially being out there by yourself. I was just riding down this road. I was driving real slow. Something hit the side of my car. So I went up the road just a little bit further and pulled over and got out and looked at it. Saw a dent in my car, so that's when I radioed to First Sergeant Sinkler.
I'm going to bed, and I think I'm on Springvale. At 10:12, I won't tell when you be here on it.
I was sitting there on the side of the road and I saw this car come off a dirt road. And I was just looking in the rearview mirror and said, this car don't have no tag. I said, no, I'm not going to stop it. I'll just wait till the sergeant gets here.
As I was going down this road to meet Trooper Darren Wilson, I met a car that was on my side of the road that ran me completely off the road.
He called me on the radio and told me that he had a car almost hit him head on, which I knew it was the car that just passed me.
Springvale, green Toyota Kershaw. Green Toyota Kershaw.
The hair on my neck started standing up, and I was thinking I should start heading that way.
And I knew when he ran me off the road that he was probably under the influence. I made a U-turn, and I got behind him, and I cut on my blue lights.
No 1028.
The gentleman kept looking back, opening the door, looking back. As I got out the car and I was approaching the vehicle, as I got to the door, I realized he was holding a gun up towards his chest, like he was waiting on me. And that's when he fired the shots, and he shot me in the hand and the chest. The only sound I could hear that night when he was shooting, it sounded like a cannon. And that's when I retreated back to my car.
I've been shot, Thunder.
Then you hear, I'm shot, something, I'm shot. I immediately dropped my car and drive, and I spun around, and I was going that way just fast as my car could take me.
As I was turning to get away from him, all kind of thoughts were going through my head. I got two young boys, and I just didn't want to die out there on the side of the road.
Get back in that car!
I fired back at him. I didn't hit him, but it was enough to keep him in the car for a little while. Then he got out of the vehicle, and he still fired a couple more shots trying to hit me. I ran some yards down the road where it was pitch dark, where he couldn't see me. And he got out, and he was still firing shots at me. He just didn't try to shoot me and just leave. I mean, he hung around.
As I was going down the road, I was trying to imagine what the scene would look like when I got there. I already had envisioned Sergeant Sinkler was going to be laying on the ground.
I ran into the darkness down the road just a little bit, and that's where Trooper Darren was driving up.
As I was coming up, I saw him standing on the side of the road trying to flag me down. So I jammed on the brakes. When I stopped, I was right beside the sergeant's car, and I jumped out of my car, and I was screaming, "Where's he at? Where's he at?" And I did not expect the suspect to still be on the scene when I arrived. I saw the suspect standing there with a gun up to his head, and I started telling him, put it down, put it down. And he went to point his gun at me. I fired 7 times and struck the suspect 5 times. That was a real scary moment. Sergeant Sinkler came running in front of my car, and I went to him to see how bad off he was.
You all right, it's just a king. I hit my chest, man. Okay, you got to get. Get more. You better stay down.
I glanced back over at the suspect, and he was on all fours trying to push himself up. So I'm saying, you better get down, And I kind of went and just put my foot on him and pushed him back to the ground, and he was in pretty bad shape at that time.
I believe down in my gut that if anyone else would have stopped him that night, he would have fired upon him and tried to kill him. When he shot me, he shot the joint out of my thumb. I can't use it like my right hand, but I can still use it. And the vest did its job. I mean, the bullet was still in the vest, and I still have that scar, but I can live with a scar.
The gunman was identified as Eric Maradiaga and taken into custody. It was later discovered that he had stabbed his wife before confronting the two officers. Maradiaga is currently serving 20 years for assault and battery. For saving the life of Sergeant Sinkler, Trooper Wilson was honored with the National Trooper of the Year Award.